tonight we're talking about how to properly set up your business so that way you can get funding and you're not scrambling afterwards. You know, a lot of people will start creating hobbies and nothing is a business until it's an actual legitimate business. You have an EIN, you have your business information, and then you can build from that. And the great thing about business is it's its own entity. So once you get that EIN number, it's essentially that business's social security number, and then you can get funding from that particular business. So I've put together a link tree. First thing that I feel is really important is making sure that your name is available, right? And once you select your name, you want to make sure that you stick with that name and everything is uniform from that point forward. And on my ebook here, you'll notice I have all of the information in regards to how to create your business and set your foundation. And we're going to go through all of these. So later on, I'll show you the website so you can make sure that you're not wasting your time trying to search for all of these things. But I'm going to just go in order so that way I don't get lost. The InCorp is really, I would say it's like your fast track to doing your business. I really like InCorp because a lot of people right now, I'm hearing they're paying people to actually register their business for them. And with InCorp, you can literally go to InCorp, and all that I recommend is you getting your physical business address with iPostal One. And iPostal One is my preferred vendor for virtual business addresses, because the first thing when it comes to a business is you have to be a legitimate business. You cannot use your home address. You cannot use your cell phone number. Your business is its own entity. So you have to treat it as such. It has to have everything separate. It has to have a separate banking account. All of these things have to be separated because it's a real business. It's not a hobby. Before you go to InkFile, the only thing that I would recommend is that you get your telephone number, you select your name, and you have your mailing address. So with iPostal One, you can actually use this. They offer virtual addresses for both personal and business. So that's why I like it. But you'll notice down here, you can select different plans. You just need the basic plan, which is $39 a month, well, $39.99 a month. And you can kind of see that it comes with, you know, all of these different things. This one actually comes with a phone, so you wouldn't even have to purchase another business phone. So you can get your fax, personal greeting, and a phone all for $40 a month, which is their Office 60 plan. And you can see the different plans that they would have available. And that's one of the reasons why I really like iPostal, because they have a whole bunch of different locations all over the US. So even if you say I'm in California, but if I wanted to have a business in, say, Wisconsin, then I can have a business wherever I wanted, because as we all know, sales tax in general is really high in California. So you can literally register your business wherever you want. It does not matter. I would select the best tax bracket. And in my opinion, that is usually Wisconsin. So, but you can definitely do everything here at iPostal One. And that way you don't have to worry about anything. Once you have your address and your phone number, you can go to InkFile and you can just hit Start My Business. And you can select what type of entity you want. You can do LLC, S Corp, or C Corp. When it comes to getting funding, I recommend corporation versus an LLC, just because corporations have a little bit more tax advantages. And if you are a single person and you register an LLC as a single person, then it's kind of like, it's still just a single person business. You have to register your LLC as a dual, or, register with more than one member. So if I want to do S Corp, I can go over here and select Wisconsin. Then I can select what plan I want. Really, the only plan that you need is this silver plan right here. You don't need all of these other things that they're trying to sell you. This has everything. I'm going to show you guys how to get your EIN, how to get your DUNS number, how to, pretty much do everything from A to Z. So that way you can start building your business credit. Because one thing about a business is, even if you're not ready to actually start your business right this second, one thing a business needs is age. So register your business and let it sit, and it can sit and it can marinate. And the more age it gets, the more likely, vendors are going to be wanting to extend you credit, and you can build from that. Because a lot of times, when we start our business, we're also working on our personal credit. So we might not have credit scores that would necessarily qualify to personally guarantee our business. And we'll get into that in a little bit here. When it comes to a business, you definitely keep everything documented. So keep everything that you do in a notebook. So when you get your virtual office, make sure that is all written down. You have it. I recommend keeping it in somewhere like a Google Drive, so that way you have it all in one spot. But make sure you have all of your passwords, all of your information all in one spot, so you don't get disorganized, because it's extremely easy to do, because you're going to be signing up for all of these different things. It's overwhelming sometimes. Once you have completed the silver package, it's going to basically take you through, it's $100 to sign up, and you get basically, they do all of the work for you. At this point, you're just going to be using them as the registered agent, because a lot of times when you don't reside in the state, or even if you do reside in the state, sometimes there's a registered agent that is required. So they take care of all of this for you, and it's well worth it for $100. Once you're done getting your ink file, then keep in mind, you want to not have anything high risk in your business name. And I have made this mistake before, where I have put the word, obviously my DBA's Bay Area Credit Repair, and my legal business name is Bay Area Wave. So I did that for a purpose, because credit repair is a high risk industry, as most things are. So what we want to do is we want to put that our business is this right here, consultant, a business consultant, because these banks and these financial institutions are looking for a reason to decline you, and you don't want them to decline you based on literally a word in your business name. So here are some of the automatic denials: anything ammunition, bail bonds, check cashing, energy, oil trading, finance, that would be anybody in credit repair, gambling, loans, pawn shops, political places, X-rated spots, things like that. Those are all high risk. And you want to just stay away from that. You want to stay very neutral. So a consultant is very neutral. You don't have to explain anything. Less is better when you are explaining things to banks and people that you're seeking credit lines with. You want to make sure that you're just saying that you are a administration, management, or general management consulting. Just say consulting. That's all that you have to do, is a business consultant. All they really care about is, are you bringing money in, and are you going to be able to pay it back? The next thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a professional email address. Now, a lot of people I see are using Gmail, they're using Yahoo. That's not okay. When banks and financial institutions look at your email and they look at your business, they want to see an email that would say, okay, this probably is a legitimate business, because it's not, Bay Area Credit Repair at gmail.com. It's actually info@bayareawave.org. So it looks a lot more professional. And at the end of the day, that's all that we really care about. You can literally get emails really, really cheap along with your domain names. So just keep that in mind. If you do have Yahoo or Gmail account, you want to get it over to a professional one, something like info or admin@yourbusinessname.com or whatever the case may be. So you want to make sure that when you register your EIN, it's all of your business information. It's not a home address. And if it is a home address that you've already registered, you should update it with the IRS. And I can give you guys instructions on that. It's going to be in the ebook that I drop in the Facebook chat. Another thing when it comes to addresses, when you have a business and you are using the same address as another business, you always want to make sure that you have a separate suite number. You cannot use the same address as any other business. So if there was another business at that particular location, you would have to have suite 102, suite 107. There has to be a difference between you and that other business, because that is going to be an automatic denial if the banks are looking at that. PO boxes are not allowed. So I don't recommend using UPS stores or mailboxes, because they have to have a physical address, especially when you are registering with Dunn's, and Dun & Bradstreet is one of the largest business credit reporting agencies that's out right now. So they're very powerful. So we talked about iPostal 1, the business phone number. So if you already have a business phone number, obviously you probably wouldn't need the one that came with the office service here. But some people, they want a toll-free number, and that's fine. There's places that are like call8.com. They offer toll-free numbers and they're super cheap. So they look really professional. And let me tell you something, they're like literally a couple bucks. So they start at as low as $5 a month. So that's call8.com. And you can get yourself a toll-free number. Definitely register that. Once you get your phone number, it's extremely important that you register it with 411. And a lot of people are like, what's 411? Yes, good old 411.com. That is a must. So you go to 411.com and you literally come in here and you register your business. This is going to be where you're going to register your business listing, because once you list your business in 411.com, it's going to literally transfer it to all of the internet. When you list your business with 411, it's super important, because when you start applying for business credit, they are literally going to search your information in 411. And if you're not listed, they can decline you. And I have seen it happen before because I actually did not know that I had to be listed in 411. So I made that mistake myself and I had to learn the hard way. I'm like, because I wasn't listed in 411, like who does that, right? So make sure that you list your business in the yellow pages in 411. So you can go to yellow pages, literally just Google this stuff. Spokio is a paid one. So be careful when you do search it, because you don't want to use those places that you have to pay, because you listing your information should be free. And, you know, of course, if you're paying for additional things, then that's a different story, but just look for it in here in yellow pages and in 411 and make sure that you list your business. It's super important. Name check. With name check, This is where you're actually going to go to see what names are available. This is going to be a huge time saver. So say, for example, you want to start a business by the name of Business Startup or Business Start. See what's available. Okay, everything in green is available. And the ones that are in tan are premium. It looks like people have already bought those and they're reselling them. So that'll give you an idea of how to check and see if your domain that you want is available and which domains are available and the usernames that are on social media. So this is a good starting point. But like I said, we always want to make sure that we keep our business name super just plain and generic. So keep that in mind. The next thing that we want to do is we want to be able to purchase our domain names. And I always recommend GoDaddy because GoDaddy is a good site to be able to, just do business with. They offer the email. It's really cheap. So I personally use GoDaddy. There's other places that you can use as well, but that's just who I use. As far as website design, I know, we have to have a website as a business. Nowadays, if you are a business and you don't have a website, you're pretty much not real. So what I've done, and I've showed you guys this before, is since I do credit repair and that's a high risk, I had to create my credit repair website, which is this right here. And I had to create my actual legal business name website, which does not mention anything about credit repair. So it's essentially like a dummy website. I'll tell you, one time I applied for a business bank account. They went to my website, they saw the word credit, and it was an automatic denial. So that's why I have two websites. And I recommend you guys using Fiverr. And I believe that's on my link tree here, because Fiverr, you can actually start, get professional artwork or website. You can find anything that you need on Fiverr when it comes to like design work. You can get logos here, animation, all type of stuff that we just don't have the time or the knowledge to do. And they do really good work. The guy that I'm using for my website, I pay him like $5 an hour. So it's more than worth it. And you can see like some people, they have their rates here and you can see samples of their work. So I really like Fiverr. You can also list a job. Once you have an account with them, you can list a job and see if people will respond to the job ad. But I like to go look and see what type of work I'm looking for and see their work. I always recommend when you are getting a website or any type of logo that you find at least 3 examples of other people maybe that would resemble the business that you're in, and give them examples like, hey, this person also does what I do. This is their website. This is their logo. I really like it. And give them 3 examples of things that they can use as a starting point, because I've gone through 3 different website people just, so far. And I've had really bad luck until I found Fiverr. And Fiverr has been extremely, I found everyone that I worked with on Fiverr. And so it's been literally life-saving. So once you have everything established, so once you have your business name, you have everything registered, you have your EIN number, you want to register your business with Dun & Bradstreet. And Dun & Bradstreet is one of the largest credit reporting firms for business credit. So you can go to my link tree and you can put right here, get Duns with Dun & Bradstreet, boom, and it'll take you right there. So you can actually register your business and you can start establishing your business credit with them. Now, when you are, a lot of people always ask, what a Paydex score is. Paydex is the number that Duns uses to grade your ability to pay back debt. And the way that business credit is, I would say, calculated is very different than consumer credit, because it goes on your ability to pay back debt. It does not go off of the utilization. It literally, all they want to do is make sure that you are repaying your debt and you pay your bills on time. That's really all that they care about. Now, another thing that people tend to forget is registering your business with Google. So I know it sounds simple, but even with myself, you want to literally go to Google My Business. Everything is all locked in. You want to go to Google My Business. They will then send a postcard to your business address, and then you'll have to enter that code that you get from that postcard to verify that your business is legit, because I'm going to tell you, you're not real until you are on Google. So many people are going to Google you, not to mention look at your social media accounts. And I'm also going to talk about social media, because if we are a business, we need to appear as such. We have to make sure that we have that professional look. Let's talk more about business credit and how we can get the most out of our business. What business credit is looking for is they're looking for cash, which is basically tax returns. They're looking for collateral. These would be like assets or cash, or they're looking for credit. And that's something that you can personally guarantee. But in order for you to personally guarantee something, of course, your personal credit has to be in order. And these are the requirements that business credit, or that these lenders are looking for when it comes to personally guaranteeing the business credit. They're looking for a 680 FICO score. So a 680 or more FICO score. I have seen it go as low as 650 for some lenders, but generally they're looking for a 680. Your credit utilization on your personal side needs to be less than 30% per account. You need to have at least two credit cards reporting, at least two major credit cards reporting, one account with at least a 2-year history, and you need to have less than 4 inquiries in the last 12 months. That, again, we want to appear as if we don't need credit, because when we go to apply for business credit, if you look like you need money, they probably are not going to give it to you. So they always want to give credit to those that don't look as if they need the credit, or that they would, be in a bind to get it and not have the ability to pay it back. So they're also looking for a total credit line of at least $5,000 across all of your accounts. So of course, the more available credit that you have, the better, but they're looking for at least $5,000 in available credit. My best recommendation is to try to get that number as close to 50,000 as possible, because that's going to show that you are able to manage a higher amount of money. Because when we go to get business funding, we are going to be wanting to know what their highest no doc loan is. And when I say no doc loan, when you go to the bank, you're going to go in and say, hey, I'm looking for the no doc loans. I want to know more information. What do you offer? The bankers are going to know exactly what you mean, because the no doc loans mean you don't need any tax returns. You don't need any profit and loss statements. You don't need any documentation from your business in order to qualify, because generally these products are either a line of credit or they're like a business loan. And depending on the bank, because every bank is different, and that's why I always tell people you want to build relationships with community banks, you want to build relationships with federal credit unions. You want to really make sure that you have all of your business bank accounts set up as soon as you open your business, because while you're working on your personal credit score, you're letting that relationship, kind of age. And that's what's most important, because once they trust you, once you have got that established relationship, they're going to be more likely to give you a line of credit or a credit card just because you already have that relationship. Personal credit is really the bridge between us and business credit. We are only going to really be able to maximize our business credit if we have the personal credit score to back it up. And some of the people that get a large amount of funding with their business, they have, at least like 700 credit score. But in most cases, a lot of these banks are just looking for a 680. So don't let your credit score detour you. As long as you have a 680, you're good to go. Some of the places that I know of that are good to start with business credit is like Capital One. They do give out low limits, but it's a starter card, and it's something that you can start with. Of course, they do a personal guarantee, so that means that they run credit on you, but it's a starting point because we all need some sort of starting point. So there are a couple different bureaus when it comes to business credit. So a lot of us have heard of a company by the name of NAV, and nav.com is one of my favorite business credit building places that I use, because not only does NAV report as a payment, but they also provide you with your business credit scores. And there are a couple different business scores that really matter. So DUNS is, of course, the most important, but then there's also Experian, there's Equifax, and then there's the small business one. So there's a few different scoring models that exist when it comes to business credit. And NAV actually reports as a payment to all of those places. So it will help you build your business credit. So it's kind of like a win-win, because let me tell you something, whenever you call Dun & Bradstreet, or as soon as you register with them, they're going to be calling you and they're going to be trying to sell you stuff. You do not need to buy anything that they're selling, because you can literally build your business credit yourself. And the first step I always tell people is with NAV, because yes, it's $50 a month, but it reports as if it is, a business credit line. So that would be considered a trade line, which is super helpful. Our goal would be to have at least 3 trade lines reporting to all 3 of the business bureaus, but especially DUNS, because they are the most powerful. Now, I'm going to give you a couple tricks about DUNS. When you're registering your DUNS number, this kind of goes back to a foundation. You can always change information with DUNS. So even if you have your DUNS that's registered and you need to update your information, you can do that and it's free. However, you want to project what you want to make. You want to project big numbers, okay? They are less likely to give out credit to someone who says, well, I might make, $10,000 this year. No, they want to see that you have big projections, like, $1 million. You have, even if it's just yourself, you project that you want to have 18 to 20 employees. The more employees you have, the more projections that you have, the more they are going to find that you are stable. I have had several meetings with representatives from Dun & Bradstreet, because I actually bought some of their credit building products, which was a complete waste of money now that I'm educated about it. But they literally gave me a lot of information that I can share with you guys, which is basically their main concern is that you are able to stand on your own 2 feet, that you are able to manage your finances responsibly and you're able to pay your bills on time. And that's literally all that they care about. And they are pretty powerful with their recommendations. If you get a late payment with Duns, you would have to dispute it just like you would with a normal credit line on your personal side. So that's why it's super important to pay all of your business bills on time, because it is, it's literally vital. Like if you make a late payment with business credit, you might as well just scrap that business and start over, because you don't want to have any late payments. Get a 5-star business card. So 5-star is a pretty good option for business credit cards. And they were one of the first companies that gave me a business credit card. It depends on your credit, of course, but it's a great opportunity for you to be able to build that relationship and then continue to progress. So you'll see here that this reports to Experian Business. So, and look, minimum personal FICO score 300 plus, like that's unheard of, right? So this is another good vendor. And this again is on my credit repair biz link tree. So you can go there and definitely start building your business up. Another good option for business credit is going to be DIVVY. So this is another really good option when you're starting to build business credit, because again, we want 3 or more business accounts, and we don't want to have to get all of these net 30 accounts, because a lot of times, net 30 accounts are going to get us to, the next level. But if we can go straight to credit cards, that would be better for our business and show that, we're more responsible. So there's Divvy, and then there's also Behalf. Behalf is another good option when it comes to building business credit, because they do a soft credit pull. They require that you have like a 650, I believe it is. They do report to Dun & Bradstreet, but you do have to pay in full every month. It's not really necessarily like a credit, but a credit card where you can, revolve it. But it is a good option to start building your business credit. I know a lot of people always talk about net 30 accounts. Well, net 30 accounts are great, and we do need a couple of them. But if we have NAV and then we get 5-star and then we get maybe 1 or 2 net 30 accounts, that should be plenty. I always recommend buying things that you need for your business from net 30 account vendors, because those are the vendors that are going to report to the business credit bureaus. And these are already supplies that you would have. If you have a trucking business or any other type of business, you would need a net 30 accounts before you start applying for fuel cards, because there are different tiers when it comes to business credit. And with business credit, you really have to make sure that you're progressing. It does progress a lot faster than personal credit, but you do have to sign up for some of these, lower end accounts that you might not necessarily want, but they really do help you, because the end goal is to get, 100,000, 150,000 and be able to use that money to invest with your business and, keep on doing it. We can have more than one business. I know a lot of people out there have several businesses, and they're able to personally guarantee, because they got their personal credit score, they were able to personally guarantee all of those different businesses. And also they started those businesses when they were actually fixing their credit, so those businesses had a chance to age. It is a little bit harder to get approved for things when it's a brand new business, especially since COVID. But once you have about a year in, And I'll tell you, like with, for example, my business, I was able to buy a brand new iPhone Max Pro Plus or whatever that phone is on my Verizon business account, all on business credit because I had built up my business credit. So that's just another example of how powerful business credit can be. So when it comes to net 30 accounts, and of course, our net 30 accounts are going to be places like Uline, Crown Office, Summa Office, Grainger. Those are all good places. Quill. Those are all places that sell supplies like office or shipping supplies, things that maybe we wouldn't necessarily need. But think about it, any type of supply that you buy for your household, think about what you can buy with these companies because they do have decent pricing, and some of them have free shipping. So anything that you can buy to finance through these companies to get the credit on your business is totally worth it. So with Uline, they offer net 30. Generally, it's like an instant approval. They generally report to the credit bureaus the first of the month. The credit world is always changing. Last I knew, they reported to Dun & Bradstreet and there was no annual fee. Crown Office, their net 30, they give approvals usually within like 2 to 5 business days. They report every first of the month. And they report to D&B, which is Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. There is a $90 fee. So, of course, I talked about sometimes we have to pay these fees because it's just a part of the business growth. And that's the case with a lot of these places that report to more than one business bureau. They're going to charge you an annual fee because it's a lot of work on their end, but it's also helping us build that business. So there's another one called Strategic Network. So Strategic Network is another place that you can build business credit with. They actually do instant approvals. Last time I knew, they report to Dun & Bradstreet. There's no annual fee, but there is a $75 order minimum. So just make sure, and of course, these are all net 30 accounts. So with net 30 accounts, that means that you have to pay the bill within 30 days. The fastest way that you can get to an 80 Paydex or a 90 Paydex is to pay your bills early. So if you have something that's say due on the 30th, pay it like 10 to 15 days early, because that's going to help your Paydex score get to where you want it to be. Anything over an 80 Paydex score is really good. And in order for you to get an 80 Paydex score, you need at least 3 accounts reporting to Dun & Bradstreet. So just kind of keep that in mind. Summa Office, they offer net 30 terms. They report every 30th of the month. They report to Dun & Bradstreet. They have a $75 minimum digital purchase. And then the last one that I wanted to talk about was Grainger. A lot of people have been talking about Grainger lately, about how they're not reporting. So I don't know at this point if Grainger is still automatically reporting or not. But if they're not, you have other options, because some of us, we just don't need supplies that would be from Grainger, and that's fine. But there's also Quill. We talked about them. Quill has a lot of good stuff that you can buy. Any type of office supply. The only thing is you have to spend at least, I think it's $50 for them to report to the credit bureaus. So when you place your order, it has to be at least $50, and then they'll report on your behalf. But there's no annual fee with Quill. They report to Dun & Bradstreet and to Experian. Sometimes if you are a new business, they will require that you place an order with them first and then pay it off. and then apply for net 30 terms after you guys have kind of developed that relationship. So if you don't get approved from them right away, it's okay, because they do approve people after they've kind of developed that relationship with them. So don't worry about it. So the goal is to have 3 accounts, and we want to make 3 payments on time to make sure that Dun & Bradstreet has received those payments. And sometimes payments won't reflect for maybe 60 to maybe 75 days. It just depends. Lately, it's been really, really slow with reporting. So just, if you're in a rush, just be patient. That's my best advice. Just be patient. You can also check your NAV account, because NAV is going to show you, once you sign up for NAV, you'll be able to see all of your business credit information inside of NAV. And like I said, they actually report as a vendor. So that's a vendor in itself, and it's a credit monitoring service. So let's kind of go over a little bit of what a Paydex score is. Paydex is just used with Dun & Bradstreet. So every business credit, I guess you could say data furnisher, they have their own scoring model. And with Dun & Bradstreet, they just happen to be the largest of them all. So anybody with over an 80 Paydex score, you're good. You do not want to have anything below an 80, because anything between 80 and 100 means that you're low risk. And that's where we want to stay. We want to stay very, very low risk. Now, once you've gotten your 80 Paydex score, you want to try to pay your invoices early if you want to get above an 80 Paydex score. And you can pay them anywhere between 15 to 20 days early in order to try to get closer to that 90 Paydex score. That's how people are getting a higher Paydex score. They pay their bills faster, because with business credit, all that they're concerned about is, can you pay this back? And if you don't have to wait the full 30 days, it's kind of like you get rewarded for that. That's with tier 1. When it comes to building business credit, you want to have those 3 net 30 accounts. And then once you get to tier 2 is where you have, 3 to 5 trade lines reporting. You have a couple store credit cards, you have some retail credit cards. And then there's tier 3. Tier 3 is where you have 7 to 10 trade lines reporting, and you have a variety of store cards, fleet cards, and retail cards. And keep in mind, any of the tiers, you can certainly personally guarantee things as long as your personal credit score is at least a 680. So be mindful of that, and meets all of the other data points that we went over. So you have to have at least at least a card that has a 2-year history. They want to see, they want to see a credit, they want to see history. And that's why it goes back to me saying, people look at the last 2 years. The last 2 years are the most important. Keep that in mind. When you first start your business, start opening up bank accounts with financial institutions that are either community-based or that are like credit unions. Some banks like Bank of America, they're not really a great relationship bank. They're a big bank, and they could really care less about us. So we want to make sure that we're building relationships with financial institutions that are going to have no doc loans. And you can literally go online and Google, you see no doc loans. You can do your due diligence and kind of read up on it. So it just kind of brings up some of the financial institutions that would be close to my area that would provide no doc loans. And no doc just means I don't want to give them, a profit and loss statement for my business. I don't want to give them a tax return. It's literally like a line of credit, a loan from that particular bank where they would not require documentation. So sometimes you have to go deeper into your searches, but apply at local credit unions. So you can literally do local credit unions, and I'll tell you some of my favorite credit unions. I like Navy Fed. I like First Tech. I like Penn Fed. A lot of these federal credit unions are really great banks because they're relationship banks. Other good banks are community banks. So you can also put best community banks near me, because community banks care about the community. They're going to try to help small businesses more than that Bank of America that's on the other corner from them, because they are a community bank. They're for the community. They're for the people. So you can literally search credit unions, or you can search national and regional banks, community banks near you. So that way you can start building that relationship with them. And then once your personal credit score has gone up, then you can apply for credit products, but start building the relationship now. Some of the things that the banks are going to ask for when you open up your account are going to be your articles of formation. And again, you get that from InkFile. They'll do that for you. The EIN letter from the IRS. You just go to the IRS website and apply, and your ID. And then usually it's about a $50 or $100 deposit, initial deposit, that they require in order to open up the bank account. Now, there's a lot of banks also that have business credit cards and business promos where you can get a business credit card and it has no interest for the next 20 months. So just make sure that you know exactly what you're applying for, do your due diligence. You can definitely submit applications at the same time when you're applying for credit products, and that's called credit stacking. So if you know that you're going to be applying at this bank and they pull Experian, you can literally apply for credit products at the same time so they won't see each other's credit pulls. And that's something that a lot of people are doing now. Some of the good banks that are high, like I would say, like well-known banks that are good when it comes to business is Chase. Chase has a really good business credit card. I haven't been able to get that card yet because I haven't really had an interest in it. I've been focusing on more of like the federal credit unions, but this is my next card that I want to get is, I believe it's a Chase Sapphire. So that has some really good rewards. We talked about Capital One. They offer business credit cards as well. So that's something that could be a starter. M&T Bank, BB&T Bank, there's Key Bank, and you can, like I said, there's so many different banks, especially in different areas, that you use Google and research it. PNC Bank, that's another good bank. They pull Experian, just so you know, and they do have no doc loans as well. So from my notes here, I see that they have business lines of credit available below $25,000 without documentation. So that's the key word. You want to be asking these banks what their maximum credit line is without documentation. What is your maximum credit that you offer without documentation? We do not want to provide them with anything. If we can get a bunch of different loans from different banks, then that would be worth it. But unless you have the document, but we are just starting out, so that's not something that we want to do. Another good bank, Penn Fed, we talked about them. I really like Penn Fed. They pull Equifax. You can apply online with them. There's BMO Harris Bank. They pull TransUnion. So, and these are, when I say pull, that's because we're going to have to personally guarantee anything that we apply for when it comes to the no doc loans. Banks don't just give businesses loans anymore. You would have to personally guarantee it, but then it's under your business's name. You just have an inquiry on your personal credit file that you would need to try to get removed. Another bank is Regions Bank. So they pull TransUnion, and they have no doc business lines of credit up to $50,000. So once your credit gets into shape, you can apply with them. And right now they have like a 6-month 0% introductory rate that they're offering. So a lot of these banks have good promos going on right now. There's also Citizens Bank. They pull Equifax. There's so many different banks out there that are really good that have these no doc loans. So I'm telling you, as soon as we get our personal credit A1, we can be getting all of this business funding. Like that's what I'm actually in the process of doing now. And think about it. We can pull, even if it's just a credit card, we can liquidate that credit card and use it to buy whatever our business investment is going to be, and then go from there. Just keep on investing. You can buy real estate, you can buy whatever it is that you want when you have credit under your business name, because even if we liquidate a credit card, it's not going to affect our score, because in business, the utilization is not a factor. They know that businesses use credit because that's what business is. Business credit is the ability to pay it back. What are some of the store cards that we can get when it comes to building business credit? Well, there is Walmart, there's Office Depot, there's Lowe's, Dell, Best Buy, Costco, 7-Eleven gas card, there's Sam's Club, there's BJ's. And mind you, there's so many more options out there, but we just need a couple store cards, similar to our personal credit where we need a mixture of accounts. With business credit, they want to see some different types of accounts so we can continue to progress to the next level, because there's business credit, and then there's, of course, corporate credit. And corporate credit requires a lot more documentation. Right now, we're just focused on our business credit. And we definitely, one day, if we can get to corporate credit, we'll get there. But until then, we have to just do these things that maybe we wouldn't normally want to do. But of course, it's part of the plan, right? Those are some of the main places that I have in regards to where to build business from. I want to talk a little bit about, let me see if I'm leaving anything else out. So we talked about the virtual office address with iPostal 1. If you guys want Credit Repair Cloud, we talked about this on Thursday. This is the link to sign up for it if you don't already have it. If you want a phone system when you're having a VA, this is definitely, I use Ring Central, so I highly recommend them because your VA can make outbound calls on your behalf. So when I did my virtual address, I just use the virtual address. I do not use their phone system, because with my phone system, I have staff. So I have to make sure that they have a phone system that they can use and they can reach out to our clients. So Ring Central is a better option for me and my business, but that might not be the same for you. We talked about InkFile. This is InkFile right here. We talked about getting your Dun & Bradstreet, becoming an affiliate with Smart Credit. Definitely, if you're in the credit repair industry, you would want to become an affiliate with Smart Credit because they have the largest payout in the industry. And honestly, they're a really good company, in my opinion, because if you want to become co-branded, you can actually have the ability to have access to their back office. You can actually sponsor people. So if you want to include the price of their credit monitoring in with your services, you can. So those are all options with Smart Credit. Some of the other options here, Shop Simplio. This is an affiliate that you can apply for if you want to help your clients build credit. They only report to one bureau, and I believe that's Equifax. So you can actually become an affiliate with them to help your clients build. The thing about personal credit now is a lot of these building companies are only reporting to one bureau. And sometimes that's okay because, when it comes to credit pulls, sometimes you only get your credit pulled from one place. So if you notice that, hey, my Equifax, it needs more credit or it needs more credit lines, you can find one of these places that only report there and you can sign up with them, and that would help you in that manner. payment processor. If you are just starting out, Square is a great option. Square, you can have the ability to bill your customers via invoice. And I like Square because you can create recurring invoices. You can make payment plans. There's a lot of options, and it's literally like keeps all of your customer information right here. So you can take payments, you can send payments. It's really simple and it's very user friendly. We talked about the business credit card with 5-star. 5-star processing also has a merchant processor that they offer for high risk industries. So if you do credit repair, you can get a payment processor with 5-star. They're just really expensive. So that's why when you're first starting out, I always recommend Square, but you always want to just have a backup merchant processor just in case you get shut down, because Square, again, high risk industry, they do not want to deal with a lot of high risk industry people. So that's why I always tell people, make sure that your business name is very, just general, because whenever we tell people what we do, we are just a business consultant. That's it. That's all. The artwork, we talked about Fiverr. If you wanted to apply for a surety bond, this is where you would do so. Some states, if you're doing credit repair, or if you do anything else that would require a surety bond, there we go. This is a good company because their prices are the lowest out of anyone that I have gotten quotes from. So this is who I recommend for that. Let's go down a couple more things. We talked about all the high risk names and making sure that all of those names are off of your business name. I always like to kind of keep it just general, like Bay Area Wave. If I were to select a new business, I would just do like Nicole Scott Enterprises, just do something simple. So that way you don't have to worry about any repercussions later. So like I said, this is my ebook. I'm not quite done with it yet, but I'm going to be dropping it in the Facebook chat. It has all of the links for you guys to be able to sign up and start applying for some of these business accounts once you get your business situated. So I really recommend, like I said, Quill when it comes to the Net 30, not only because they report to DMV, but they report to 2. If you're going to do business with someone, do business with someone that reports to like multiple bureaus. Like Crown, they report to all 3, but they have a $90 annual fee. So that's a lot of money to some people. And sometimes when we're first starting off, we just don't have that type of money. So everything that I spoke about is going to be documented for you guys. So that way you have access to it. These are all the banks that I went over with you guys. So that way everything's right there. These are all the store cards that I recommended. And sometimes nowadays, these store cards are going to ask for a personal guarantee. So what happens when that happens? Well, I'll tell you, if your personal credit ain't there, don't apply. Okay. You do not have to apply. And I don't recommend applying if you know that you're going to get declined, because a lot of these places don't require a certain score, but rather if you have any derogatories or late payments on your personal file, that's going to be an issue, especially if you have anything within the last 2 years. I mean, shit, I had a freaking old Macy's account that was from like 5 years ago that was derogatory on my list, and I got declined because of that. And it was only for $724. So that's just a prime example of if you have anything on your personal credit report, you want to make sure that you get all that cleaned up. But that's why we want to build our business now, so that way it can marinate. Because the one thing that I've noticed about business credit is it grows fast, right? And it's a lot faster than personal credit because there's less factors here, right? So once we get our business registered and everything, we can literally just let it sit. We don't have to do anything with it. We can let it sit. We can figure out what we want to do with it. And then we can come back to it later while we are working on our personal credit score. Once we have all of the data points for the personal credit score, and we went over the data points a little bit earlier, but I'll go over them again just so I can make sure that you guys are doing everything in your ability to get there. This is a PG, personal guarantee. So this is what the banks are looking for. They're looking for cash, which is generally a tax return. They're looking for collateral, which is assets or cash. They're looking for credit. So chances are we're not going to have the first two, and we don't want to deal with the first two. We want to deal with the personal guarantee because this is our credit. This is the power of what credit has to offer you once you have a good credit score. We can literally get money with our credit score. So once we have at least a 680 FICO, and I've seen it as low as 650 for some, but I recommend getting to 680 FICO across all of the boards. Once your credit utilization is below 30%, when you are applying for any type of funding, you do not want to have a high utilization. We talk about utilization a lot, and I always tell people the magic number is between 2 and 6%. I understand things happen, so the most that it can be is 30, but that's really high. So when you're applying for funding, the less utilization you have, the more likely you're to get more money, because they're like, oh, well, they don't really need the money, right? So try to get that real low if you can, if not like below 5%. You want to have at least 2 accounts reporting. I recommend way more than that, but these are, the requirements that a lot of the banks have. You want to have at least 1 account with a 2-year age. And that account, they generally want to see that account have at least a $2,000 credit line. The more the better, of course, but they want to see at least 1 account that has a $2,500, $2,500 line that's been around for 2 years or more. And it does have to be something in your name. Now, sometimes people don't qualify. There are other accounts that you can get, like fintech accounts. A great example of that would be like Tomo. Tomo is based on the money that you make. When I was first building, Tomo gave me like, I think it was $2,500. And this was just based on like my banking. It doesn't require a credit pull. You can get pre-approved right here. So go to tomocredit.com. Credit limits anywhere, like it says, between 100 and 10,000. But this can be something that you can do now, so you can start building up if you don't have a credit line that might qualify you, because we're building up so we can get business credit. That's the end goal. Like, everyone always wants to know what are we going to do with our credit once we have it. So I talk to so many people on a daily basis, and they swear up and down that they have good credit. But guess what? None of those people know what to do with it. They don't know how to do these type of things because nobody teaches these type of things. But this is the sauce right here. So you want to have that 1 account. It's got to be aged for at least 2 years. You want to have less than 4 inquiries in a 12-month period. Make sure when you are applying for things, you are calling the credit bureaus and trying to get them removed as soon as they hit your profile. As soon as they hit your profile, you want to make sure that you are calling the credit bureaus and you're saying, I don't know what this is. They need to be removed. That's all you need to say. Don't say anything else. Don't explain yourself. Don't give them any details. Just talk to the fraud department and tell them they need to remove it. If they're not willing to help you, or if they're going back and forth, hang up on them, and before you give them too much information, and call back and talk to somebody else. If that absolutely doesn't work, you've tried 3 times, talk to a manager. Get somebody above them, because you want to try to get all of the inquiries removed before they hit your profile. That's how so many people are building credit, but they're getting the inquiries removed. And even if you have, 4 inquiries, 5 inquiries, it's not the end of the world. But again, we want to look like we don't need credit. Banks are more likely to give you credit when you don't look like you need it. They do look for at least a $5,000 credit limit across all of your accounts. So Tomo, hopefully you guys can get a good balance with them. There's other ways that you can have balances. You can use My Jewelers Club, even though they only report to one bureau now. That's still one bureau, it's still $5,000. So in my opinion, it's still worth it. So those are just some of the things that we might have to do if you don't have other types of credit lines. And like I said here, personal credit is literally the bridge to real business credit, because our end goal is to have our business credit. That's what is going to get you the real money. I always tell people, personal credit is really not meant for anything except for like financing vehicles and buying houses and like building our credit score up so we can utilize it for business credit. And business credit is really where the fun begins, because all they care about is your ability to pay it back. And you can even make money off businesses that, say, for example, you built a business up, and it can be just, a generic business name. You've built it up. It has a good paydex. You've let it age. Maybe you're in a state like Wisconsin where it doesn't have any taxes, or it doesn't have a whole lot of tax stuff. And you can build businesses and then resell them. A lot of people are in the business of selling shelf corporations, and shelf corporations are actually becoming quite popular. So there's places out here that literally will sell your shelf corporation for you. Like here, low price, credit ready, aged shelf corporations. And all these people did was they registered a business. They got it looking legit, meaning they got their EIN, they got their DENS number, they got a couple accounts added. They did all of the things that they had to do in order to be a real legitimate business, and they just let it age. And now people are selling them for money. So that's a perfect example of how you can make money doing that as well. But that's just one way. Age shelf. Wyoming is a great area to do business, because their taxes are like something crazy. Look at this. Wow, that's crazy. So you see, I mean, this is from 07. This is $3,895. So even if you just build a business, and these are just random names, this one's from 20 and it's for sale. So that's just, an example of one of the ways that you can make money doing that as well. That is really all that I have about business, but I'm going to run through it one more time with you guys, because I know a couple people joined late. So I got my address with iPostal 1. Then I went to InkFile. I filed my business. And then I went to the IRS website to apply for your EIN, which is your social security number for your business. Please make sure that you have a legitimate telephone number for your business. Now, I've told you guys I use Ring Central, but that's just because I have people that work with me and that need access to my phone system. So if you can always transfer like virtual numbers to Ring Central. Make sure that you register your telephone number with 411.com, because banks are going to look for your business, and they are going to make sure that you are registered with 411, because banks are old school. Banks are super old school. So this is the website that you would go to list your business. Listyourself.net. It is free. You do not have to pay for it. Yeah, get listed in 411. So that way, the banks and anybody who is searching for you, because what Quill is going to do was when Quill actually looks up your business, they're going to just look on 411. They might look on Yellow Pages, but they literally look you up. Like, they are going to do that with you on the phone. So it's important that you guys are making sure that your business is super legit. This is Yellow Pages. You want to also make sure that you register yourself with Yellow Pages, because like I said, businesses are old school. If you wanted to get a toll-free number, you can with Call 8. Like I said, they're like $5 a month. And then once that's done, you're really, just building at that point. After your phone number is registered, I would then apply for your DUNS number. And we went over that. Let me show you the website to apply for the DUNS. Actually, I think I have it on my link tree here. And then got your DUNS number. So it's really that easy. It's not hard. I know people that have literally paid like thousands of dollars for someone to register their business for them when it's this easy. It's so easy. And a lot of people just don't want to share the information because I guess, they want to make money off it and, whatever. But it's this easy, guys. I want to talk about social media for a second too, while we are talking about business, because the one thing that people need to realize is people look at us and all they see is our social media. Our social media is how they know us now, right? We can know somebody and not even know them at all, but we're friends with them on social media, so we know them. It's a digital world now. So whenever you are selling anything, it doesn't matter, product, service, whatever, you need to make sure that your social media presence is on point. You cannot be offering services and want people to take you serious if you're posting shit that is just not necessary. You have to make sure that you understand everyone is watching you. Once you start advertising for business, everybody is going to be watching you. And it's important that if you plan to post things that maybe, wouldn't be approved for business, that you do it on a personal page. I turn my own IG and my personal IG into a business page just because I didn't want to start a new one. But I'm going to just do a simple example just so you guys can see, because this is something when I first started, I did not really pay much attention to, because I'm like, well, I'm just posting stuff on social media. See my social media, it's very organized and it's very together. Everything is very professional. If I do post anything, it's like to my stories, or if I do post anything that's outside of my branding, then I always archive it, because I like my page to be very neat and organized. Brand everything. Brand yourself. Put watermarks in everything. Put your logo. So people need to see your logo 7 to 10 times in order for them to pay attention to who you are. And then they'll start recognizing, oh, wow, yeah, that's Nicole's logo, or, that's so-and-so's logo. Because at the end of the day, we are a personal brand, and our personal brand is our business, right? Because people are going to do business with people that they know, that they like, and that they trust. So this is how they get to know, like, and trust you, is through social media. And I highly recommend, whatever field that you're in, follow 10 to 20 people who are successful in that industry and find out what they're doing. Because there is no special sauce. You are the special sauce, because you are going to be the one to take action, and you are going to be the one to implement the things that are working. Because I'll tell you something, there's not going to be any huge difference between a truck driver that's making $1 million compared to another truck driver that's making $1 million. They're doing the same thing. They're delivering products, right? That they have the same end goal. There is no special, sauce to anything. It's how hard you are willing to work and how much work and effort you're willing to put into your brand. And whenever I talk about branding with people, I always tell them how important it is, because this is literally how people view you online. So if you are planning to open up a business, make sure that your social media accounts are intact, because if someone is searching for a hashtag and say, for example, let's just look up credit repair. So you want to make sure that you are appearing extremely professional and you're letting people get to know, like, and trust you. This person is claiming to be, I'm the credit plug. Okay. They can do check stubs. They can do $50 full cover insurance, CPN. Now, look at all this shit on their website. Do you even know who this person is? Do you even know who you're doing business with? Chances are, if you're looking for credit repair on the internet, who are you going to do business with? Are you going to do business with I'm the credit plug? Or are you going to do business with someone like Nicole Scott, who you see who she is, you see the results? Like, I can do all that shit that they can do too. But guess what? I'm not going to advertise that I can do pay stubs. I'm not going to advertise that I do CPNs. I don't do CPNs, but I'm not going to, advertise things that look shady, right? Because that's just not professional. Let's do another one. If we look at a truck driver, your social media is everything. And if you feel like you need help with social media, like, this is like a whole nother topic, but I just wanted to go over it with you guys briefly so you understand how people can take you serious, because your social media is literally how people view you, right? So this person has 72,000 followers, they have trucks, but you don't know who the brand is, right? This is a company, but you don't know who you're doing business with. They say that they're a recruiter, but you don't know who you're doing business with. And a lot of people would go on to somebody else and see who they're doing business with versus doing business with this particular company, because it's just just pictures of trucks. They're more likely to look at someone who actually has a photo with themselves. Not saying that this is a great example, but people want to see who you are. People want to see, what you're all about. People want to know you. They want to, get to know you, and they want to be able to trust you. That's the biggest thing when it comes to business. And I noticed a huge difference once I actually started taking my social media serious, because I'll tell you something. I used to post a bunch of crap on my social media, like all sorts of stuff, and it was just all disorganized. And once I actually saw the value of me just posting things like results and things that people are actually wanting to see, my business changed, because people saw more of me. They got to know me. They understand that they can trust me. It's one of those know, like, and trust factors. And that goes along to business, is people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. That's pretty much all that I have for tonight, guys, unless you have any further questions. But we went over how to start a business and how to start building your business credit from scratch. And it really is not that much of an investment, because you can literally do all of this stuff yourself. And really, it's time consuming. That's the biggest investment that you're going to have to put when it comes to building your business and building your business credit, is time, because you have to do all of these, tasks. And then you have to start opening up business bank accounts with financial institutions, and you have to research, what banks that you want to go with. I've kind of lined it all out for you guys. And like I said, once I get my ebook, and I just put all this stuff together today, so I've been working really hard to kind of get you guys all of the generalized information and all the links, so that way it's like literally at your fingertips. So once I have this together, it should be by Monday that I can drop the ebook in there for you guys. So you'll have all of the links, and you can actually start, creating your business and building your business credit.